The loudest voices in your life aren't always your enemies. Sometimes they come from the very people closest to you, the ones who tell you you'll never make it. How many times have you been told you're not good enough? And worse, how many times have you started to believe them? Doubt doesn't just sting, it lingers. It seeps into your mind until their words sound like your own. But here's the truth. Those voices don't define you. This is the story of Alex, a boy who carried the crushing weight of others' doubt until the day he turned it into fuel. A choice that didn't just silence them, it transformed him. Alex was 17, small in stature, shy by nature. The kind of boy who blended into the back row of every classroom, unnoticed unless someone needed a laugh at his expense. But inside, Alex carried a secret dream. He wanted to be an athlete, to feel the rush of the crowd, to prove he was more than the quiet boy in the corner. The problem? No one believed in him. Not his classmates, not his teachers, not even his father. When Alex tried out for sports, the other boys laughed, not behind his back, to his face. "You're too weak, too slow. Don't embarrass yourself." Even the teachers who admired his grades dismissed his ambition with a shrug. "He's smart," they'd whisper, "but he's no leader." And at home, the voice that hurt the most, his father's. "Don't waste your time, Alex. Some people aren't built for that kind of life." Each word felt like a stone dropped into his backpack. One insult, another doubt, another warning. The heavier it grew, the slower he moved, until every step toward his dream felt impossible. And maybe you know that feeling too. Maybe you've carried your own backpack filled with voices telling you to stop, to shrink, to give up. Maybe the words came so often, you started believing them yourself. That was Alex, a boy with a dream trapped under the weight of everyone else's doubt. But sometimes, life has a strange way of flipping the script. Sometimes, the very chains meant to break you become the reason you rise. It was late. The field was empty, the floodlights dimmed, and Alex sat alone on the bleachers, his head bowed low. Another practice had ended the same way, with laughter echoing in his ears, reminding him he didn't belong. That's when Coach Miller appeared. He wasn't the loudest coach, nor the most decorated, but he had sharp eyes that saw deeper than most. He had been watching Alex for weeks, noticing the slump in his shoulders, the way he carried more than just his small frame. "Come with me," Coach said quietly. He led Alex into the gym. The place was silent, filled only with the faint hum of lights and the smell of rubber mats. In the middle of the floor, the coach placed a heavy stone. "This stone," he said, "is every voice that ever told you no. Pick it up." Alex stared at it. His hands trembled as he bent down. He pulled, but the stone barely moved. His breath grew ragged. Sweat gathered on his forehead. For a moment, he almost let go. From the corner of the room, Coach Miller's voice broke the silence. "You think the stone is heavy? Doubt is heavier." "And you've carried it long enough." Alex clenched his jaw. He pulled again. This time the stone lifted just an inch, but enough to make his heart surge. "Now let me ask you, what would you do if every insult you ever heard was placed in your hands? Would you drop it and walk away? Or would you lift it to prove them wrong?" As Alex gasped for air, the coach knelt beside him. His tone softened. "You're not the only one they laughed at," he said. "Years ago, they told me I was too old to compete, that my best days were behind me. I could have believed them, but instead, I made their doubt my reason. I kept training, and I proved them wrong." The weight of the story hit Alex harder than the stone. For the first time, he realized something powerful. Their words didn't define him. His response did. He looked at the stone again. It hadn't grown lighter, but inside something had shifted. That night, in the silence of the gym, Alex lifted more than a rock. He lifted the weight of years of doubt and discovered he didn't have to carry it anymore. The next morning, Alex did something no one expected. Before sunrise, while the world still slept, he stepped out of bed and began to train. The air was cold, the streets empty, but Alex carried a fire inside. Every insult, every laugh, every whisper of "you can't" became fuel for his steps. Day after day, he pushed himself. Push-ups, sprints, weights. Not perfect, not easy, but relentless. And with every drop of sweat, his body grew stronger. His shoulders, once hunched under the weight of doubt, began to square. His voice grew steadier. His confidence no longer borrowed from others' approval, but built from his own discipline. The stones that once weighed him down became something new in his imagination. Steps. Each insult a step higher. Each doubt a step closer to the top. What once crushed him was now the staircase lifting him upward. And soon the result spoke louder than words ever could. During trials, Alex ran faster, lifted heavier, endured longer. The same classmates who mocked him stood in silence, their laughter gone, replaced by quiet respect. At home, his father watched, at first in disbelief, then with something Alex had longed to see: pride. For the first time, his father didn't say, "Don't waste your time." Instead, his eyes said everything. "I was wrong about you." And Alex. He realized he didn't need to silence the voices with arguments. He silenced them with results. Now pause and ask yourself, what if every doubt you faced could be turned into a reason to rise higher? How unstoppable would you be? Because courage isn't the absence of fear or doubt. Courage is choosing to move forward because of them. And that's exactly what Alex did. Alex didn't win because he was the strongest. He didn't win because he was the fastest. He won because he refused to let doubt write his story. That's the truth most people miss. It isn't about being perfect. It's about refusing to let others' voices decide your future. Because doubt is like fire. Left unchecked, it burns you down until nothing remains. But if you learn to control it, if you choose to use it, that same fire becomes the flame that forges steel. It becomes the strength that shapes you. So let me ask you, whose voices are you still carrying today? The critics? The doubters? The ones who told you you'll never make it? Will you let them burn you to ashes? Or will you use them to forge yourself into something unstoppable? If you're ready to prove them wrong, comment "courage" below and share this story with someone who needs it today. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that light your fire and remind you of the strength you already carry inside.